Yeah, today date is 11th, 11/21. Okay. So the topic is this, what we are discussing. We know Jeden. Jeden is a group with respect to addition modulo n. So Kathy, is it everything clear? Voice and board?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is a group with respect to addition. We know that, and it is cyclic group. Then interesting feature of this group is that its elements, units in this group. Okay, not only here, in any ring actually, the units forms a group. So U of Zn. So that we are denoting as Un. Okay, the Un is exactly the numbers which are relatively prime to n. Right. So the k belongs to n such, and 1 less than or equal to k less than or equal to n, and k comma n GCD is 1. So luckily this forms a group, okay, by ring theory or whatever. So, and we proved also, if A and B are relatively prime to n, then product is also relatively prime to n, and by Bezoar's identity, inverse is there. Like that, it is a group. Okay, you can prove again one more time. So independently, it is a group. So clearly, it is abelian also. There is no problem with abelian also, right? The next question comes that when it is cyclic. That is a simple question. An entire chapter is, luckily, entire chapter is about that. Each chapter is completely about that, when it is cyclic. Okay. So I will tell again. So when UN is cyclic, this is the question. So in that one we done one result, I'll again recall the proof. Even though it is available in this notes itself above, I will repeat a little faster way. So we proved that UMN is not cyclic. We proved that UMN is not cyclic when m greater than 2, m comma n GCD1, m comma n GCD1, and m greater than 2 and n greater than 2. This is one result we proved. Okay. Are you okay? What is this? What is this meaning? Okay. So which numbers taken care here? So that also we need to understand. So, okay, let us prove it one more time, little fast way, then we'll ask the questions. How we proved it? How we proved it that, so we took an element A. A belongs to U, Mn, right? What is the meaning of this? This implies A comma Mn GCD is equal to 1. So this implies easy to see that A comma M GCD 1 and A comma N GCD is also 1, right? So it is in fact if and only if condition. Okay. See, A comma M and GCD1 implies there is no common prime factor between A and Mn. Then between A and M and between A and N also do not have common prime factor, right? So this is easy. Then once we have this, then by Euler's theorem, what we have? A power phi of m is congruent to 1 mod m. Naturally, whatever we are getting, we are just writing A power phi of n congruent to 1 mod n. So I have to take element A belong to UMN, and I need to show that its order is not equal to phi mn, right? It is not cyclic means. So it is not cyclic, I want to show. That means that you take any element whose order is less than the order of the group, then it becomes cyclic. To show that one, so I took arbitrary element. Now I want to show that order of A is less than phi of Mn, right? Yeah, that is the question, right? Okay. So now what is that we took? We took H is equal to LCM of phi of m comma phi of n. Okay. So then we are, our claim is that, okay, first look at this. Our claim is that this A power H is identity, means 1 modulo Mn. Then we are done. Why? H is less than phi of Mn. So how we done it? Can you somebody recall? We have m greater than 2 and n greater than 2. Yeah. Then okay. So LCM is equal to product of the numbers by D, where D is equal to GCD of phi of m comma phi of n. Yeah, somebody can recall that.
So now GCD is greater than equal to 2.
Right. Yeah. So this is actually phi of m into phi of n by 2, less than or equal to, because D is greater than or equal to 2. Why it is greater than or equal to 2? Because m greater than 2, n greater than 2, then phi m and phi n are at least 2. They are even actually, right? So, but it can be more than 2 also. So we don't know that. So kam se kam ye to hoga. So it is more than 2. So I am dividing by that. It is less than or equal to this. But what is phi of mn? Phi of mn equal to phi of m into n, because m and n are relatively prime. So I have that h is less than or equal to phi of mn by 2. So I just took this number. Now my claim is that a power h equal to a power h is congruent to 1 mod. 1 mod. Okay. This is my claim. Is a power h is congruent to 1 mod mn. But that is simple. Okay. That is this is goal. This is the goal, right? But this is simple. Why I'm telling one more time the proof? Now we are going a little faster and we are consolidating. That's the matter. Okay. Sometimes repetition helps. Not a problem. Okay. So a power h congruent to 1 mod mn. So for that, first we are taking that a power h is equal to. So we know that this is equal to here. It is equal to a power phi of m, okay, into phi of n by 2, right? I'm taking by d. This is equal to d here. Yeah. So d is the GCD of these two. So d divide both of them. So it is an integer finally. But this is congruent to 1 modulo m. Are you okay? Because this is 1 modulo m. I'm only telling a power h is congruent to 1 modulo m. Similarly, a power h is congruent to 1 modulo n also, right? Then that means m divides a power h minus 1, n divides a power h minus 1, and m comma n GCD 1. So then we have that a power h is congruent to 1 mod mn also. Is the proof is okay? Kamya, you are not there. Now is the proof is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. So this is the thing we done. Okay. So now what is that it taken care now? For what values of mn, umn is not cyclic. So what are all the values we completed now? Okay. So try to understand that. See, m greater than 2, n greater than 2, this is. So am I done that? Now look at here. So for example, if n has 2 odd prime divisors, as a corollary to this, what you can say about un?
Not cyclic.
Not cyclic. Why? Okay. If it has 2 prime divisors, then p and q, then I can separate them. At least whatever the powers and all, I can separate. Then m greater than 2, n greater than 2, I'm getting. So it is not cyclic. So this case is done. So now what is that happening now? Un is cyclic implies necessary condition is that it has at most 1 odd prime divisor. Okay, it cannot have 2 odd prime divisors. So that is one thing. Not only that, if n is equal to 2 power m into p power k now, okay, where p is odd prime. P is odd prime. So these are cases also we need to check. But again here, if what happens if m is greater than or equal to 2? Tell me. And k is greater than or equal to 1. Then what happens? Yeah. Then in this case, what happened to un? Yes, please. Sorry. Somebody can tell me now. M is greater than or equal to 2 and k greater than or equal to 1. Then what about un? And p is an odd prime. Then these two numbers now GCD is 1. Correct. and both are greater than 2.
Both are greater than 2.
So this is not cyclic. We done that. Okay. So we done that. So now what is the cases left now? If all these are done, okay. Only cases left are so n is equal to 2 power m again, but now m is less than or equal to 1. Remember that. Okay. And to p power k, where p is odd prime. And also what we can say about this k. K can be anything. Now k can be even greater than or equal to 0 also allowed. Right? So these are the cases. So now first we are looking that we done one case. So that is now in fact, but what is happening is that in all these cases, luckily, this is cyclic. That means un is cyclic, except, okay, I'll tell you this 2 power m case. Un is cyclic when one case left, sorry, n belongs to 1, 2, 4, but means when k equal to 0, m cannot take any value. Okay, here I made some mistake, right? So in this case, they're all true, but I missed one more number. N is equal to only 2 power m, right? Where m is greater than or equal to 0. So this case also there. So this is 1 and this is 1. Sorry, yeah, I made a mistake. So 2 power m. So so this is not covered in the previous theorem. Okay. So this also there. So these are the only numbers. So that I'm writing here. But this case we need to check. So 1, 2, 4, p power k, and 2 into p power k, where p is an odd prime. So these are the only numbers where this is cyclic. Okay, so that is the question. In fact, RSA cryptography also people use it actually. This, what is that I want to say? See, it is abelian group. If it is abelian, then there is a abelian group may there is a nice thing happens. Okay, that I will introduce now. So you know exponent of a group G. Exponent. Since all of you are no group theory, that's why with that thing I am telling, we are not done. So without group theory touching, we can complete this course actually. That is the idea. But since you know, I can use it right now. What is exponent of a group? Okay, no problem. So exponent of a group is equal to all k belong to natural. So first of all, to explain that, I will take this. Let G be a finite group. Yeah, it is for finite groups only. Then you know something about a power something. A belong to G. Then a power some number actually equal to 1. Identity. Do you know that?
Order of G.
Order of the group. Correct. So order of the group always happens, right? Order of the group is equal to identity. This is true for every A, right? This is true for every A. That means for every A, there is a one common number. For every A, there is a one common number. If you raise to that, I'll get identity. But that doesn't mean that order of A equal to order of the group. No, number of elements, right? So for example, identity order is 1 only. So now look at this case, right? What is that I'm saying? You take G, then I can partition. I can define a relation, right? What is the relation I can define on A? A is related to B if order of A equal to order of B. Is it an equivalence relation? See, today I'm proving entire chapter at one shot. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can tell me, is it an equivalence relation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because order of A equal to order of A related to A. all that. So it is an equivalence relation. So now it partitions, right? Partitions. So so that means G is equal to union of some sets, right? So what are those sets? I'll write FD, where D divides order of the group, right? So but remember that FT can be empty also for some D, right? You understand that what I'm writing, right? Because an element cannot have two orders. Every element has unique order. Okay, now so I'm dividing the group elements depending upon their orders. Order of an element is divisor order of the group. So I can write G equal to union of FT. Okay. So when G is cyclic, G is cyclic if, yes, what is the definition, right? G is cyclic if Fn is not empty, right? Are you okay? Not okay?
Yes, sir.
It is fine. Okay, good. So n equal to order of G, then it is non-empty, then it is cyclic, otherwise not. So for example, you take Klein 4 group, right? Then my G is equal to only identity is one set union ABC. All these three elements of order 2 and one element is of order 1, right? This is the partition. So but there are no elements of order 4, so it is not cyclic, right? Okay. So that is a nice way to look at, right? Yeah. Okay. Now I'm coming to the exponent of G, right? So to do that one, I'm defining something. Okay. So for example, on the set we can call some A. But yes, okay. S is equal to all natural numbers n such that A power n for every A belong to G, A power K, some L I take. A power L is equal to 1, identity. Better write much more. I hope you are clear what I'm writing. So I'm looking at the natural numbers, it is subset of natural numbers. Which condition for every A belong to G, A power L equal to identity. For every A belong to G, A power L equal to identity. Is S non-empty?
Yes, sir.
Why it is non-empty? Because S contains
Order of G.
order of the G. Yes, good. S is non-empty because order of the group belong to G. Yes. So S is non-empty. So and S is non-empty and S is subset of natural numbers. This implies S has a least element. Okay. So that is the exponent of G. Since it is finite, so I can give name to that. Because Well-ordering principle, it has a least element. So call that as, that is the exponent of the group. Now, is it clear exponent? Right? That is, what is that? It is denoted as exponent of G. So what is exponent of G? It is the minimum. What is the minimum? Minimum of what? Minimum of all n belongs to, minimum of S actually. S inside defined, so it is minimum of S. But yeah. So can somebody tell me what is the exponent of exponent of cyclic group Zn?
N.
Hmm? N
N.
only. N only. What is the exponent of Klein 4 group?
2.
Yeah. See, are you able to see that it is equal to 2, not order of the group? So every element, if I do power 2, I am getting 1. I am getting 1 before the order of the group. Every element. Okay. What is the exponent of Sn? Okay. So to understand that, it is a nice problem actually. So it is a very, very nice research problem. Okay. Okay. What is it I want to say that? So how do you express exponent? Somebody can tell me in a different way. So I take order of an element, order of A, so that A belongs to G, right? So
LCM of all orders.
LCM of all orders. Good. Okay. It is actually, so it is LCM of, yes, okay, some set, LCM of some set A. Okay, what is A? Where A equal to order of A, so that A belongs to G. LCM of all the orders. That is exactly the exponent of G. Okay, is it okay to see, Achila?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mehak, are you clear? Okay, anyhow. Yeah, so it is LCM of all the orders of the group. Okay, good. Now you take SN, symmetric group. Okay, sorry for deviating. I'll come back. For SN, what are the, can you give me some elements orders? Can it have element of order 1?
Yes. Identity.
Identity. So 1 belongs to SN, right? 1 belongs to A. Is 2 belongs to A?
Yes, sir. If
Transposition.
N is greater than or equal to 2.
Yeah. So tell me. So what are the orders possible in SN?
1, 2, 3 up to N. And there will be
1, 2, 3 up to N are for sure there, right? Because there is a cycle of length 1, there is cycle of length 2, there is cycle of length 3 up to there is cycle of length N. Orders of those cycles are exactly length of the cycle. So in particular, can you now predict what is the order, exponent of Sn now? I think Kanak is missing. Otherwise, we can ask him to come to this number actually.
LCM of
LCM of
first and natural numbers.
yeah, first 10 natural numbers. So beauty, see that it is a number theoretic function. Natural numbers to natural numbers. It is LCM of the first 10 natural numbers. That is the exponent of Sn. Okay, very good problem. Okay, so I'll not go further. So it is a good problem to work on. What is today our goal is that, so this Carmichael, I'm sorry if I spelling is a mistake. So better to check and write. Okay, I'm writing, but later I change. Carmichael number. The Carmichael number is actually the exponent of UN, that our group, okay, our hero, the exponent of UN. So for every n, UN is there. So that is a number theoretic function, nice function. So this lambda, so lambda of n is equal to, lambda is a function from natural numbers to natural numbers. See, I am telling all these things when Achila had discussing about this. So he gives little bit, I'll try to give also discuss. Yeah, it is motivating me to tell all these things today. I not thought of telling this today, but so the interest you showed motivating me to tell all this. Okay, lambda is a natural number. So what is lambda of n? It is exactly equal to, it is defined as exponent of un. it can be completely computed. It can compute. We can compute. In Python program is also available already. That's why I tell you connect is missing today. So it is actually by Chinese remainder theorem. So you know that what is um, UN is isomorphic to, right? UN is isomorphic to what? So that we need to see. So you know that for example, my Zn isomorphic to what? If n is equal to p1 power k1, p2 power k2, and so on, pr power kr, can somebody help me? Zn is isomorphic to what? As a cyclic group only. For example, Z15 is isomorphic to what?
Z3 cross Z5.
Z3 cross Z5, right? Direct product. Okay, this group is up. Why we do direct product? Z3 is easy to work, Z5 is easy to work than Z15. And these two are isomorphic, right? Isomorphic, sorry, I do not write equal to, they're isomorphic, right? So both have same properties. So instead of working Z15, I can work in Z3 cross Z5, right? So what is Zn now? It is Z P1 power K1 direct product, Z PR power KR, right? But now you know that the what is the for this one? Yeah, I'm telling many things today. So not in the syllabus as such, but I'm connecting that you know these things. Okay. Now, what are the units in Zn? By Chinese remainder theorem, it is units in Z P1 power K1 direct product U Z PR power KR. Okay, we are going to show that except this guy, this is the guy creates problem. When P1 is actually P1, I am taking P1 is equal to 2. So this is the only guy little create problem. Otherwise, remaining all are cyclic. These are all going to be cyclic. So they are cyclic. Then what is going to happen? What about their orders now? If you come to the order of this one, I do not know what is order of this. That I'm calling as lambda n, right? I want to compute lambda n. Okay, but so that is actually the LCM. Okay, G1 and G2 are two groups. If I take any element in the direct product, that is a one beautiful result. What is that I'm saying? G and H are two groups, right? G and H are two groups. Okay. Then a G cross H is a direct product of these two groups. Now, if I take an alien element A comma B in G cross H, so then order of AB, order of this element. Do you know the answer?
LCM of order A, order B.
Order of A comma B is equal to LCM of order of A comma order of B. Yeah, this is a good question. Yeah. Okay, remember this. Very good. Okay. So now once I know it is possible to compute orders of every element of A, G cross H. That is the beauty of this, right? By knowing just orders of A and B, elements in G and H. So now, so in the with respect to that, actually now exponent I can compute here. Okay. So these are all cyclic. And so then what is orders of, what is exponent of these guys?
P1
I'm not,
power
P1
PR power
order,
PR minus
their
1.
order.
their order, that is Euler function, right? So so it is product, right? If it is product, phi of PRKR. Okay, when where R is 2 so K is equal to, right? Sorry, some L actually. Yeah, you understand this part. So PL KL. where L is equal to 2 to R. This is there, but this guy product one more guy here. Okay, that is order of this. So it is 2 now. Okay, P1 equal to 2. It is 2, then it need not be cyclic always. Okay, but we know one thing that if it is, if my k, this is 2, okay, P1 is 2. So my k is greater than that, then exactly it is phi of half actually, phi of 2 power k by 2 into that. So this I need to prove. In fact, exponent is exactly half of the order of the group. It is cyclic when n equal to 2, when k equal to 2 and k equal to 1. In that case, exactly phi of 2 power k, not by 2. I hope you are understanding what I'm saying. Yeah, so it be careful. Okay, so that's why they will separate actually. They will not write. You look at a Carmichael function, you go to Wikipedia, they will separate it. So lambda n value, okay. So they will give different cases. When n is equal to product of all odd primes, then it is exactly the LCM of all these things they will give. Like that they define. So this is a very nice function. And so what is the advantage of this one? If A belong to UN, right? A belong to UN. So you know that A power phi n equal to 1 for sure. That is order. But I don't need to go to up to A phi n right now. Up to what extent I will go now? Huh? Lambda n only. This is the exponent. So even there itself I will get 1. So in the RSA cryptography, instead of phi n, now I can use lambda n also. Some people work it that way also. That is what I want to convey. Okay. So instead of telling actual theory, it is better that I'll convey lambda function is actually, this is the exponent of u of zn. Exponent of u of zn, that is going to be helpful. It is not order, sorry, it is exponent. So it is L of n equal to LCM of those. And many cases it becomes that exact exponent is half of the order of the group. Okay. So now we come to that original case. So is it okay what I'm telling? Why I've defined exponent, you are clear? I defined exponent. The UN exponent is an interesting phenomena. UN is cyclic, then it exactly phi of n. Otherwise also, not only it is not cyclic, what is its exponent also plays, people are discussing. There is a lot of literature. That is what I want to convey. Why UN is important. It has applications and all that stuff. Okay. Okay. So now come back now to the original, our actual thing. So our goal is now u 2 power k. This is what we are doing in the last class. I will repeat that theorem. U 2 power n is not cyclic when n greater than or equal to 3. Okay, this is what we are proving. Today I'm proving, but yeah. So this is my first point today, right? So we have started doing this. So I'll recall again how we went into. So first we done that base case. We proved by induction. Yeah. Before that, do you have any questions? Ask before this. Yeah, it is by induction. Induction on n. So what is the base case? Base case is n is equal to 3 itself. In that case, we know that U8 is equal to 1, 3, 5, 7, and it is a Klein 4 group. So exponent of U8 is equal to 2. So that means 2 power, every element power 2 itself becoming 1. No need to go to up to 4. That is one more advantage of this group actually, u 2 power k. I'll tell that. So, but what is u of 2 power k? What is u 2 power k first? Order. Yeah. Or order of u 2 power k? 2 power n. Yeah, please.
Phi of 2 power n, which is 2 power n minus 1.
Yeah, so this is actually phi of 2 power n, but that is equal to 2 power n minus 1, right? 2 power n by 2. Why it is 2 power n by 2? Why this number equal to 2 power n minus 1? Somebody asked you, how do you prove it?
So all the integers, so phi of 2 to the power n is all the integers that are co-prime to 2 to the power n, which is all the odd integers.
All odd numbers. So that is the answer you had. All odd numbers are relatively prime to 2 power n. Okay. So they're exactly half it are there. So that's why 2 power n minus 1. It's the simplest case. Good. Okay. This is done. Now, so what is that we are telling, that if you take any odd integer whose order is less than 2 power n minus 1, okay, but you take u 2 power n, so element here, what is the possible orders, right? It is but 1 or 2 or 2 square or 2 cube and so on, 2 power n minus 1, right? So if I able to prove that a power 2 power n minus 2 is also congruent to 1 mod, then I'm done, right? So it will taking care that order of a equal to 2 also, this will work. Order of a equal to 4 also this will work. So I'm telling that every element, even exponent is less than or equal to this, I'm telling, right? That is what I'm. So is it okay or not okay? Otherwise I can explain further. Any questions? Amya, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now let us go this. Okay. Now by induction hypothesis, suppose the result is true for n is equal to k. What is the meaning? Meaning is that u 2 power k is not cyclic. That means u 2 power k is not cyclic. That means what? For every x belong to u 2 power k, what is going to happen? Whose order is less than every element order is less than the order of the group. That means, so what is going to happen? Okay, I'll ask slowly then.
You can just say that the exponent is less than 2
Yeah,
power k.
that's how do you express that now as a statement? For example, what is order of u16?
8.
8. Okay. So now, so this is not cyclic, I want to show. Means what is that I want to show?
So order of x is less than.
Yeah, that is okay. But what is the possible orders now? If x belongs to u
1, 2, 4.
1, 2, 4.
1
Proper
to
divisors of it.
no, proper divisors of 8, fine. So they are 1 to 4 also fine. Please tell me now. So if x belongs to u16, then order of x is either 1 or 2 or 4. But I want to tell combine as a single statement. How do I express that? It is not 8. And also order of x is not 8. This is not there. So how do you express that as a single statement here?
Order of x is not equal to 2 power k minus 1.
No. So x power 4 is
X to
congruent
the
to
power
1.
k minus 2.
So it is, this is what I'm telling. So 16, I'm telling, right? Are you following? If you understand this, then proof is almost done. What is that I have to write here?
2 power k minus 2.
X power 2 power
K
k
minus
minus 2 is congruent to 1 mod
Power k.
2 power k minus 1.
2 power k.
Sorry, yes.
So I am working in 2 power k. So in 2 power k, you take any element whose order is less than or equal to 2 power k minus 2. Order of u2 power k, u2 power k is 2 power k minus 1. But I am telling that x power 2k minus 2 will become 1. It is a beauty of this group. All orders are divisors of, they are of x2 to 1, 2, 2 square, 2 cube like that. That's why advantage. See, in other groups it is difficult, but here it is luckily that this is one, I am done. Right? Is it okay now or not okay? I am waiting so much time here. This is one of the crux of the proof. Is it okay, Amir, now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I want to show that 1 less than this itself equal to 1 giving. So I no need to go to up to 2 power k minus 1. So order is less than this quantity itself. So I'm done, right? Yeah. So so this we have u2k is not, u2 power k is not cyclic implies for every x. This we have. This meaning is what? This implies that x power 2k minus 2 is equal to, right? So x power 2 power k minus 2 minus 1 is divisible by 2 power k. That means 1 plus m into 2 power k. Are you clear with this? Yeah, I hope you are clear. So we have this, we'll use it later. Now by induction, now I have to take a k, n is equal to k plus 1. That means now, what is that I want to show? Claim u 2 power k plus 1 is not cyclic. Of course, k greater than or equal to 3 is already there with us. So we may use it somewhere. Okay. For that, what is that I have to take? Now y belong to u 2 power k plus 1. What is that I want to show? Required to prove. Somebody tell me. I took y now arbitrary. So for every x I want to show something. So for that I took let y belong to this. What is it I want to show? Order of y is less than the order of the group. So what is that I have to show?
Y to the power 2 to the power k minus 1 is
No.
congruent to 1.
2 power k minus 1, correct.
Yes, sir.
Y power 2 power k1, because order of u 2 power k plus 1 is 2 power k. Now it is still 1 less than that. So y power 2 power k minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo 2 power k plus 1. This is my claim only, required to prove only. Okay. So right. This is what I want to show. Okay. For that, what is that we do? Now coming to the actual proof now. U belong to u 2 power k plus 1. So this implies I can write y is equal to x plus, I'll tell you why I'm writing this, t times 2 power k. What is that I want to say? You take u16, right? Y belong to u16. So it is an odd number. Y is an odd number. But that odd number can be less than or equal to 8. Equal to anyhow will not happen. It is less than 8 or more greater than 8. There are two possibilities for it. Okay. So that's why I wrote x plus 2 in 2 power k. So where x belongs to u 2 power k and t belongs to what? Okay, you are not clear. I'll explain you. So for example, my y is equal to say 13, belong to u 16, right? How can I write 13 is equal to some element plus some element? Okay, this is actually less than 8. Can you give me one element? U 8 में belong करना है and something else here.
5 plus 8.
5 plus 8. 5 plus 8. What is 8 actually? So 8 is 2 cube, right? So what is that we are taking? T value 1 and then 2 cube. Okay. Now, for example, my number is say 7. Then how do you write it? 7 plus 0 into 2 power 3. Can I write like this or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me one more number so that things will become easy. 11. Yeah. Somebody can help me. How do I write now? One element in U power 2 power k and
3
remain.
plus 1 into 8.
3 plus 1 into 2 cube. Okay. So every element now U 2 power k plus 1 I can write as x plus t into 2 power k, where x belongs to U 2 power k and t belongs to
0 and 1. 0 or 1.
0 comma 1. Yeah. So that is the thing, right? If it is already y is less than 2 power k, then t is 0. If y is greater than 2 power k, then it is 2 into 2 power k, some number below that. That's nothing actually. I'm not doing anything. Okay. Now I am coming to this particular case. Okay. Yeah. Now come to this. What is that I want to take y power 2 power k minus 1. So, but this is equal to what? Equal to. It is equal to what? X plus t 2 power k power 2 power k minus 1. Yeah. So by binomial expansion, what is going to happen to this? I have x power 2 power k minus 1 will come. What about the remaining terms? Is it equal
So
to?
they will become 0 with respect to
Yeah,
modulo
so
2
I'm
power
actually
k.
writing this also modulo I am writing. So modulo 2 power k plus 1. Yeah. So modulo 2 power k plus 1. Yeah, now tell me. See, 2 power k minus 1, choose 1 next term, right? So this actually 2 power k minus 1, choose 1 like that. So they're all becoming, they all contain 2 power k plus 1 inside. So they are become 0. So what is this become now? So mod 2 power k plus 1. Is it okay? If you understand this proof, then same proof we will repeat for p power k also later, odd prime. Yeah, is it clear to all of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. So it is x power 2 power k plus 1, but this is equal to, you can see that this is congruent to x power 2 power k minus 2 square. Do you agree that? Because a power m whole power n is equal to a power m into n. Right. So it is 2 power 2 means 2 power 1. So I hope it is clear, right? Is it clear or not clear? But this is equal to what from 1?
One plus
One
m into
plus
2 to the power k.
1 plus m
Right.
times 2 power k whole square. Right? Yeah. This is equal to what? You can expand it. You can easily see that 2 power k plus 1 will be there in other two terms. So it is 1 only. I'm done. Proof is done. Any questions? Very clean, simple, not much. Looks first time when you are looking, little looks complicated, but it is not. Okay. Yeah, so some nice constructive proof here. So that's why it is like that. Yeah, now Achila, you tell me your numbers now.
Yes, sir. So we were considering u2 to the power k, and we
Y1
consider
equal to and Y2 equal to. Yeah, tell me. Y1 equal to.
uh, yeah. So 2 to the power k minus 1.
Okay, your n equal to 2 power k.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 2 power k
K
minus.
minus 1
Hmm.
minus 1 minus 1.
Not okay. Okay, here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because it is to be odd. Yeah, correct.
And the other one is 2 to the power k minus 1.
Oh. Okay, so 8, no need to check 8. It is always true. So let us true for 16 first. So you already checked, we know. So now k equal to 4. So k equal to 4. Now y1 becomes 7, right? Yeah, 7. And y2 becomes what is order of 7? Yeah, correct. 7 square is 49. 49 is congruent to 1 mod. So it is our element of order 2. Correct. Y2. Y2 is equal to 2 power 4. This is 15. So 15 square equal to 225. Is it 225 is congruent to 1 mod 16? Is 16
Yes, sir.
divided? Okay. Fine. So these two elements of order 2. So you are done actually. You are done. It is not cyclic. You understand, Kathy, what is Achla saying?
Yes, sir.
He is saying that if U16 is cyclic, then it cannot contain two elements
Two
of order.
elements of order 2.
It have only one element of order 2, but she is telling now these two are elements of order 2. Then U16 is not cyclic. In
Yes,
fact,
sir.
but how do you prove now? Okay, so your goal is to show that 2 power k minus 1 minus 1 square is congruent to 1 modulo 2 power k. Is it correct or not? That we need to check. Right? Yeah. So now if I square it, right? So yeah, it is clear. This is clear, right? If I square it, so only one will come here. So this is not a problem. Is it every one of you clear with this? No one is saying.
So it's clear.
Yes, sir. It is fine.
Yeah, if I square it, a square, so that is exactly 2 power k. So next one is 2 into 2 power k. That is also fine. Yeah. And 1, yeah. So this is okay. So next one is that 2 power k minus 1 you are saying. Exactly. That is anyhow work because it is a minus 1 whose order is exactly that. So this is not a problem. Only this guy we need to check. 2 power k minus 1 is exactly minus 1 whose order is anyhow 2 hai. This we no need to check. This one only we need to. So if she is giving very simple proof, then why there is a problem? Why people are giving lengthy proof? We need to know answer for that. Why people proved this way? Are they not able to see this? What about this? Okay, here both are same. What is it I want to say? This is okay. This is 2 power k minus 1. It is mn. So yeah, this is okay. This is 2 power k plus 1. Yes, I do not see any difficulty. I think it is true, but I am now myself puzzled why people are giving that lengthy proof. It's lengthy proof. What is the need of all this? Okay, good. Maybe this is maybe the reason, Achila, because they are not using group theory, they are proving directly. So UNA cyclic group properties and all they are not doing. That may be the reason, actually. Okay.
Yes.
But you are correct. This can be disproved by this way very easily. Yeah. Okay. Now coming to this. So we done that 2 power k is not cyclic when k greater than or equal to 3. Now coming to UP. First P is an odd prime. Are we done this problem? We completed this. UP is cyclic, we completed. Remember how we done? Okay, I'll recall. So first for that we proved the Lagrange's theorem. See, you understand that what actually we are doing is very interesting. We are proving that Zp plus dot is actually a field. Yeah, field ke liye you need abelian group only, but we are proving that Zp dot is actually, if you remove 0 from it, then it is a cyclic group, right? In the finite field, the multiplicative group is cyclic. This is not true in general, right? In any field, complex numbers, minus 0 is also a group, a abelian group, but it is not cyclic. But in the finite fields, that is cyclic. That is a beauty. Okay. Okay, fine. So we first proved by Lagrange's theorem. Then afterwards, what we done? We proved that x power d minus 1 has exactly d roots. We proved it. I'm telling you the how we done it. Exactly d roots in modulo p. Afterwards, what we done? Afterwards, we done that. So x power p minus 1 minus 1, okay, which is equal to. So so product. So all these will come, right? So we used this, and by Fermat-Seidel theorem we applied, and it has exactly p roots. So because of that, and we used the Gauss lemma. Here we used the Gauss lemma. So Gauss lemma says that so n is equal to summation d divides n phi of d, right? And these all exactly phi of d roots are there. We have to, so from that we got this. Okay, we used this thing, and we proved that x power p minus 1 has at least one element whose order exactly equal to p minus 1. We done it. Okay, so this is we done, completed. Next, what is that we need to prove? What is the things left now? These are easy. One is this, when k greater than or equal to 2, and u 2 into p power k, k greater than or equal to k is any number. These are the problems left now. So somebody can tell me for u2p, can you guess? Let us work out. For example, you take u10. Is it u10 cyclic? What are the numbers we have? 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 7, 9. Yeah, so comment.
7 is the generator.
If 7 is generated, its inverse is also generator. Right. So what is its inverse?
3.
3. See, first of all, it is good to see that order of 1 is 1. Order of 9 is
2.
2, because it is minus 1. So it is 2. So now it is cyclic, then at least the element and its inverse. So these two are inverse to each other, right? And that is true. 7 into 3 equal to 1 mod 10. So they are inverse to each other, and they both have order 4. Okay, though it is cyclic. But now look at U5. U5. Now U5 may what are the so the U5 contains, so again 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now again here also this is of order 1, this is of order 2. So these two are again generators. Okay. Now how do you get these generators from here? Can you able to see that?
One of them is the same and the other is adding 5.
See, this is 3 is as it is passed away, but 2 equal to 2 plus 5. The 7 is 2 plus 5. Okay, let us work out few more examples. So let us work with, okay. By the way, what are the primitive roots in U15? Primitive elements. Anyone?
It's not cyclic, right?
It is not cyclic, so it cannot have. Okay, because it is equal to 3 into 5, both 3 greater than 2, 5 greater than 2. So it is not cyclic, so it does not have primitive elements, right? Okay, but actually, if it suppose some UN is cyclic, then how many primitive elements will be there? Suppose UN is cyclic, then the number of primitive elements are
5 of n.
yeah 5 of n, right? Because order of the group is 5 of n, and 5 of n is the number of primitive elements, right? But 5 of 15 is different. But do not confuse that. Do not tell this answer. Okay, it has zero primitive elements because it is not cyclic. Do not tell that 5 of 15. That's why I gave this problem. Be careful. Now come to U14. So U14, the numbers which are relatively prime are 1, right? 3, so 5, 7 is not there, 9, 11, 13. Yeah, 6 are there. Yeah. And look at U7. U7, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this element has order, this element has order 1, this element has order 2. What are the generators? Is it 2 generator?
Three is a generator.
Yeah, let us compute. So first of all, what is order of U7? That is 6.
3 and 5.
Yeah. So so what is 2 square?
4.
4. 2 cube is 1. So order of 2 is not equal to the 6. So it is not a generator. Not a generator. Yeah. So then automatically it inverse also, not a generator, because order of element equal to order of A inverse. What is the inverse of 2? It is 4. 8 congruent to 1 mod. So this also. So now 3 as well as 5. Right? Okay. Yeah. Now come to the generators for U14.
3 is a generator.
Is generator because U14 cardinality also 6. So 3 square is 9, no problem. So 3 cube 27.
Minus
27,
one.
that is
Congruent.
-1, congruent to -1. So it is also not working. So then automatically it is 6. So 3 is carried away. Yeah. So then 5 is also or not. That we need to see. Right. But 5 cannot be because 3 into 5 is 15. Yeah. Congruent to 1 mod 14. Right. It is inverse. You see that they are already carried as it is. Am I correct? Am I doing mistake? Hello?
Correct, sir.
Correct. But you look at these numbers also, it is 7 plus 2, 9 is 7 plus 2, 11 is 4 plus 11, 4 plus 7, 13 is 6 plus 7. So plus 7 we are adding, okay, the remaining part. So you understand that why I done in the proof also x plus t into that coming from here that I want to correlate. Yeah. Okay, good. So this is one point. So now think of up square. Up power k we can go. You know that up is cyclic. So how up square is cyclic? So let us work out. So let us look at U9. U9 elements are 1, 2, correct? 4, 5, 6 is not, 7 and 8. Yeah. These are the elements which are relatively prime to 9. Okay. So whether it is cyclic or not, can I get from U3? What is U3? 1 and 2. Okay. Yeah. So now what is generator here?
2.
2. 2 is a generator. So no problem. This is generator. It is cyclic and it is generator. So now what is generator here? So 2 square is now again order is 6. 2 square is 4. So order of 2 is not 2. So 2 cube. I think this is working.
Yes, sir. Minus one. 2q is congruent to minus one model.
So it is working. So 2 power 6 only becomes 1. What is 2 power 6? 64. Congruent to 1 mod 9. So done. This is done. So are there
5
any
will
other-
also. 5 will also.
5 automatically because now we are again adding. So 2 plus that, right?
That's it.
Yeah. So sometimes, see, be careful that sometimes it may not carry here. My bad luck that this example, whatever I took, because this is only 2 elements, so that's why it may happen. We'll work out with another example. Yeah, it is better that simplest example is U4 and U2. But U4 prime odd primes I do not go. I need to check only odd primes. So let us check U25 and U5 one more time. So U5 that now this is very big number it seems. So 1, 2, 4. What is U25 order?
20.
20. Good, because it is 5 into 5 minus 1, so it is 20, right? Order is 20, so 20 elements are there. But whereas U4 contains only 5 elements, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 4. 5 will not come, 6, 7, 8, 9 will come, 10 will not come, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 will not come, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, right? 3 also, 3 I missed. Yeah, 3, 4. Yeah, 1,
And
2.
21, 23.
Yeah. 21, 21 up to 20. Yeah, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, so better write all of them once. Yeah. Now, if it is cyclic, we need to prove. Then if it is cyclic, then how many generators it has? U of phi of 20. Phi of 20 is how much?
8.
8. Okay, 8 elements are there, but U5 has only U5 has 4. U5 has 4. So work out. So first 2. Here 2 is a generator, 3 is a generator. But are the generators here? I think is a little tougher.
Yes, so 2 power 10 is -1.
2 power 10 is -1. Okay. So then this is a generator. No problem. What about 3? Yeah. So directly 3 power 10 you are evaluating. You see that. You are instead of 20, you are actually checking 10 only. This itself working or not. Okay. Modulo 25 करना है. Right. Yeah, maybe a little difficult. I think this also working, and 2 plus 5. 2 plus 5, that is 7. 7 also may work. Okay, that's what. And there is a pattern. Okay. Yeah, I think when it is difficult, time will be wasted. So we need to compute actually. Yeah. So okay, so this with this motivation, I try to write some result now, right? I'll try to write some result now. So that is related to some lemma here. The lemma says that let P be a odd prime if P is an odd prime. Okay, then there exists a, this is simple, then there exists a primitive root R, primitive element or primitive root R of P, such that R power P minus 1 is not congruent to 1 modulo P square. Is it clear what is the question? That means what is the meaning of this? First of all, what is UP square? What is order of UP square?
P into P minus 1.
Yeah, that's what I gave earlier. So this is P into P minus 1, right? So you know one thing, that R is a primitive root. So what is order of R? Primitive root of P.
P minus 1.
It is P minus 1. So R power P minus 1, if you do, means R is relatively prime to P, and you know by Fermat's theorem or Euler's theorem, whatever, R power P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. But they are telling that R power P minus 1 is not congruent to 1 mod P square. Okay, at least one primitive root will be there. It is whose order is not P minus 1. Then what it can be? Can it be R power P is congruent to 1 mod P square? Is the question clear? Is it possible this?
No, sir.
It is not possible. Why it is not possible?
Because this congruence will hold true for P as well.
Yeah, see, if this R power P is congruent to 1 mod P square, then what is happening? P square divides R power P minus 1. That meaning what? P divides.
P divides R power P minus.
Yeah, this implies P divides R power P minus 1. This implies R power P is congruent to 1 mod P. That is a contradiction. That is a contradiction because because R power P is congruent to what? Mod P? R mod P. Yes, right? So this is not true. So what is actually we are doing? Why we are proving this result? Okay. So if there exists a primitive root R says that R power P minus 1 is not congruent to 1, but R power P anyhow not congruent to 1, then what can be the order now?
P into P minus 1.
That is the thing. That means it is order equal to the order of the group. So it is a primitive root modulo P square. So the beauty is that for P square, so 1 minute, what I'm telling here. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, so I'm telling that there is a primitive root. What actually it is telling? Can you tell in a different way by understanding this?
There is a primitive root modulo P, which is also a primitive root modulo P.
Very good. There is a primitive root modulo P that is also primitive root for modulo P square also. That is a beautiful part. Good, nice, thanks. Okay, so now we'll try to prove it now. Right. Yeah, we'll try to prove now. So we understand the statement. The statement's understanding is more important than the proofs. Okay, proof now. This proof is simple, not much. Okay, so I take R belongs to UP. So that is clear from this R comma PGCD1 and R power P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. All this stuff is there with us. Okay, now what next? Suppose R power P minus 1 is congruent, not congruent to 1 modulo P square, then what happens? We are done. It's not congruent to 1 mod, then we are done. We are finished. This is what actually we need to prove, right? That's what, right? That is a statement, right? So there is a primitive root. Okay, so suppose not. So in the next case only I need to solve. If not, that is R power P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P square. That means order of R, that primitive root, modulo P square is P minus 1, not P into P minus 1. So it is not a primitive root, modulo P square, but it is a primitive root modulo P. That may happen, right? Yeah. So in that case, what is that we are telling? We are taking R plus P. Is it a primitive root? I'm asking question to you. Is it a primitive root modulo P?
Yes, sir.
Still it is a primitive root modulo P, no problem. Okay, even if you add P to it, it's still primitive root because modulo P if I do, it becomes R only. So there is no difference in modulo P. But when go to P minus 1 P square, then it is a different. So this is actually my goal. This guy will work. So finally conclusion is that, see, there is a, so that statement little we need to little be careful. So there is a primitive root. There is an element, either R or R plus P is a primitive root for P square, right? So that is helping that one of them, yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so now work out this. What is this R power P power? What is that we need to do? उनका power p minus 1 करना है, right? I want to show it is not equal to 1 modulo p square. I want to prove that, but expand it. So it is p minus 1. Yeah. Next, what is I'll get? So we'll get some terms, right? So p minus 1, choose 1. That is p minus 1 into
P
r
into
times
r power of p minus
p minus 2 into
p.
p. Okay. What about the remaining terms? You will get p square. Are you able to see that?
Yes, sir.
So I no need to write them. Is it okay, Achla?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I no need to write them. So I'm not writing now. Okay. So this is the thing I have. Now this is r power p minus 1. So here I multiply again. See, p into p is how much? P square. That is observed here. So it is minus r times p minus 2 into p modulo p. Okay. Now question. I'll erase actually. Is it congruent to 1 modulo p?
P square, right?
Is it congruent to 1 modulo p? So when it become congruent to 1 modulo, sorry, p square. Thanks. Already we know that r power p minus 1 is congruent to
One.
1 mod.
1 modulo p square. So we are in that stage. We are in that stage. It is already 1. So if this is 1 means now this is not
0.
yeah. So this is not 0. No. 1 minute. What is it I want to say? 1 minute. So this is 1 means what? This is 0. This is 1 means this is 0, right? But this is not 0. Why this is not 0? 0 modulo p square. Because r comma p GCD1, r p does not dividing this quantity. So this entire thing is not divisible by p square. So it is not possible. So okay, I'll write now properly. So mod p square. It is clear that p square does not divide r power p minus 2 p, right? So this implies r plus p power p minus 1 is not congruent to 1 modulo p square. So we are done. So this is the proof. Okay, please go through and so I'll start. Yeah. Oh, are you able to come through? Okay. So final conclusion is this, right? So conclusion is that either R is a primitive root or R plus is a primitive root modulo p square. So UP square is cyclic. Now by using this, we'll go for U p power k directly, right? Yeah. So that is easy. So for that again, we'll prove one more lemma. So this lemma says that let p be an odd prime. Let p be an odd prime. Okay. And let R be a primitive root. Modulo p Okay, I'm taking UP only. In UP, R is a primitive root. That means R is any number other than P or other than 0. So primitive root modulo P, I took it. Okay. With a condition that such that R power P minus 1 is not congruent to 1 modulo P minus P square. That is already there from the previous example. There is at least one primitive root will be there. Okay, such that R power P minus 1 is not congruent to 1 modulo P square. Okay, so then what is that we are claiming? Then for each integer k greater than or equal to 2, we have this R power P power k minus 1, k minus 2 is not congruent to. First, try to understand that what is this theorem is saying. If you understand this, actually, I can stop also today's class. Do you understand anything from here? Hello? Okay, so I'll explain then. What is the cardinality of U P power K? Hello, am I audible, Kathy?
P power k
Hmm.
minus 1 into P minus 1.
Yes, sir. Means sir, this theorem is same as the previous one for the P power k.
No, that is okay. So we'll go through. Okay, what is U P power K? Yeah,
P power k minus 1 into P minus 1.
yeah. P power P minus K minus 1 into P minus
P
1.
minus 1.
Yeah. So, but what is written here?
Power is divided by P.
Yeah. So it is not equal to 1 mod P power K. Then what is the meaning of that?
Then its order must be P power k minus 1 into P minus 1.
Yeah. See, I know that R power P power K minus 1 into P minus 1 is 1 mod P power K because by group theory, Lagrange's theorem. But anything less than this order, anything less than, so I'm actually keep this as it is. So I'm not disturbed this. So anything less than, see, it is similar to 2 power K case. That's what my intention today is, exactly that approach. So this proof can be proved by induction again, the same way as we done, right? Otherwise, actually, I can come up with another simple proof. Yeah. So again, this can be proved by induction, the same approach what we done. So, but what is that finally it is telling? So if you prove this result, what is the conclusion? मान लो ये prove किया हम लोग, then what is that you conclude from that?
R power P power k minus 1 into P minus 1 has to be 1.
No, not that part. So this is not one, right? This element R which is taking care. So first tell me that what is the GCD of u comma p power k, r comma p power k.
One.
1. So actually thing is that the elements which are in UP, they are also in UP p power k. Are you able to see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is already element in UP power k, but it is actually R came from UP. R came from UP, but it is in p power k also, right? But what is that we done here? We done that R power p minus k, it is not equal to 1 mod p power k. That means what we can say about order of R modulo p power k.
It is certainly greater than
This number. So that then what is that number then?
the whole, I mean, p power k minus 1 into p minus 1.
That is the order. So that means order. What is now? So that's what now conclude again. What is that you conclude from this
Oh,
theorem?
okay. So whatever is the primitive root modulo p square, the same root will work for p power k.
You told much more than that. Okay, thank you. You in fact told me much better. Yeah. Actually, R is that primitive root is taking care of primitive root for u p square also. So see, for p power k and r, you no need to work. Whatever the primitive root for p square, that guy is working for p power k. That's a beautiful statement. Yeah, yes, thanks. You see that? What are the primitive root for p square? That is also primitive root for p cube. That is also primitive root for p power 4. That is also primitive root for p power 5, whatever. Okay. So primitive root for p square can be come from either r or r plus p. That is also coming from p. That is also coming from p. So that is exactly happened. You see that there also we done that x r x plus t into 2 power k ऐसा है यहाँ भी. Okay, but it is much better. So r or r plus p. For that is up to p square only. By see for p square x plus m t into 2 power k is 1, right? Yeah, so we are going one less, right? So it is p r or r plus p. So similar to that. Okay, but interesting thing is that the same primitive root is working for p cube, p square, p power 4 everywhere. This is what this proved by induction. So can I done for p power k now? P power k is cyclic. Are you proved it? With this, of course, we need to write little properly. Do you agree or not agree? Please comment so that.
How did we use induction here?
Induction we need to do. Yeah, we need to do. Yeah. So it is not that straightforward, but one can work out. First, yeah. So we'll come to that in a while. Otherwise, if you need it, I'll come to that. But before that, suppose we proved it. Then what happens? What is that we done?
Can you repeat the question?
Suppose we proved this result, right? This lemma we proved. Then what is it we proved actually? You told something, so already you told. What are the primitive root of r square, p square? That is a primitive root for p power k for every k. That is go k for k greater than or equal to 2, right? So from that, what we achieved? Are you proved that u p power k is cyclic?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is what I want. So yeah, how to prove it, that will induction I told, but we will come back. But is it possible from this to prove that u p power k is also cyclic?
I don't see how.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Very good. So,
Okay. Yeah, I think it's the same logic as before.
no, not even same logic. It's little different. Okay, let us work out that. So I will prove this. Then we'll go to the induction part. See, first, what is that you have to prove this part? U p power k is
Cyclic.
cyclic. That means what?
It has some primitive element.
Very good. Very good. Let us say R. Now I use this to prove. Now I need this to show primitive root for.
2 times p power k.
Very good. Good. Nice. Aram. Okay. Now, can you give me one number here which is not which is not in 2p power k? See, when I go to u 2p power k, some numbers which are in relatively prime to p power k need not be relatively prime to 2p power k. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
But there are some elements which are relatively prime to p power k. They are also relatively prime to 2p power k. Can you recognize them? P is an odd prime. Remember.
Sir, I did not understand what you said.
Oh, question. Okay, I'll repeat. See, so let us work out this U9 and U18. What is U9? Okay, this is 1, 2, 5, 4 also. 1, 2, 4, 5,
7.
7, 8. Right? Okay. Now U18. U18. Suddenly this 2 will not come.
Sir, all odd numbers will come.
All odd numbers will come. Are you able to see that? That is my question actually. Now new numbers are coming. So now what are those? Okay. So 2 will not come, 4 will not come. So 5 is carried here, 6 will not come. So 7 is coming here as it is. What other numbers are coming? Right? Instead of 7 now, instead of 8 now. Okay, these are there. What are other numbers coming?
11, 13.
11. 11 is coming. Okay.
13.
Hmm?
13.
13 is coming. Okay.
17.
17
That's
is
it.
coming. That's it. But what is this 11? What is that we missed actually here? 2 missed, 4 missed, 8 missed.
2 plus 9.
2 plus 9 is 11. 4 plus 9 is 13. 8 plus 9 is 17. Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Is it not beautiful? Yes. Okay. Now can you guess now? I know primitive root here. I want to give primitive root here. What is that I do? Okay. So now go slowly. If there is can you give me one element which is in both of them?
1, of course.
Right? Are you following my point? Are you following my point? Okay, one more slowly. Let us go one more case. Okay. Okay, what is that I want to say that what is the cardinal? Their cardinalities first.
6.
Here it is 6 in general. I already wrote.
P power
They are
k
equal.
minus 1 into p minus. Yes, sir.
They are equal. Don't need to tell that. These two cardinalities
Yes,
are
yes,
equal.
yes.
Right. That means the number of if they are cyclic, then the number of generators are so okay. Okay, what is that I want to show that there is an element whose order equal to order of this group. If that is carried here also, then sufficient.
Yes, sir.
I'll get a primitive root from here to here. So for example, that is primitive root here also, and then it cannot become so that will take care. Okay. For example, give me one odd number in U9.
5.
5. You can check that is second primitive root here also.
Yes, sir.
But if I take 2 2 is a primitive root. 2 need not be primitive root. I had not checked. Is 2 primitive root in U9?
Mm,
1 minute.
no, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is primitive root.
It is.
Then you can check that 2 plus 9, 11. 11 is also primitive root. Okay, what is my conclusion now? See, giving proofs are different. Okay, that is cumbersome and it spoils actually. Okay, first observe the things. What is a conclusion now? What are the primitive roots in U2 p power k?
Whatever the primitive roots for before plus p.
No,
P
not that.
plus 1.
If it is odd, then as it is will carry. If
Yes,
not,
sir.
add p power k to it.
P power.
Right? That will work. So proof is simple. That is not much complicated. So what is that I am telling? If R is a primitive root, R is a primitive root modulo p power k, then we can choose R as odd. It is possible. Why it is possible? At least one odd will be there up to odd square, right? If not, okay, no, still not, don't need to worry. Otherwise, you can take R into p power k. Is it can be odd? If R is even, then what happens? R into p power k becomes odd. Am I correct or not correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So then it is easy to check that this R itself will help us. So this part is not complicated. Okay. So only thing is that this proof. Yeah. So can I leave this as an exercise?
Yes, sir.
Again, the same approach. Exactly 2 power k part only. This is the only thing I am leaving in this chapter. I can prove very simple that again for k, base case is what? K equal to 2. We already given. R already this is given. So that case is done. Now we assume it is this is true for k, some k. Then k plus 1 you can prove it. But again you can apply certain things and you will get the same approach as we done earlier. Yeah, okay. I'll stop here so that any other questions we have you can ask. So tomorrow's class I'll try to complete as much as possible from chapter 9 also. And with that I covered most of it, but maybe one more class I may take in the next week. So that if you have still any doubts or anything you want me to tell, I can take as many classes as you wish. But if you want me to stop also, I can stop. So that directly exam, okay? But tomorrow class is compulsory. Tomorrow's class, I will try to finish 9th chapter. I will try my level best to finish 9th chapter. Okay, today 8th is over. 8th may 2 parts are there. Another part is indices. I'm not putting that in the syllabus. So don't worry about that. That is 8.4. That is not in the syllabus. 8.1, 8.2, 8.3 in this chapter. So that I covered. But exercise problems are very, very fantastic. So if you do those problems, then it will be nice. Any questions?